When Einstein first encountered the phenomenon of quantum entanglement, he called it spooky action at a distance. Two particles, once connected, remained instantly correlated regardless of the space between them. Change the spin of one and its partner immediately responds, defying our classical understanding of cause and effect. But consciousness operates on this same principle. Your awareness isn't contained within the boundaries of your skull. It extends into the field, connecting with other awareness in ways that transcend physical proximity. Welcome to the Reality Revolution. Today we're going to talk about quantum entanglement and shared timelines. There's a moment when you realize that everything you've been trying to become already exists, not as some distant possibility, but as a living, breathing reality in the quantum field of infinite potential. It happened for me. The challenge was never about creating this future self. It's been learning to synchronize with it. Here's where it gets fascinating. Your highest timeline doesn't exist in isolation. It's woven together with others who are meant to rise alongside of you. I talk about reality creation a lot, but I'm not talking as much about our shared reality creation, and I want to cover that a little bit today. The very fabric of reality operates on connection, on entanglement, on the profound truth that transformation amplifies when witnessed and shared. I've spent years guiding individuals through timeline shifts, watching as people step into versions of themselves they barely dared to imagine. But something kept nagging at me, a sense that we were only accessing a fraction of what's possible, that there was something about the collective field, about shared intention, that could unlock dimensions of transformation we couldn't reach alone. The ancient mystery schools knew this. They gathered seekers not just for learning, but for mutual elevation. They understood that certain states of consciousness could only be achieved through resonance with others who were vibrating at similar frequencies. Modern quantum physics is catching up to this ancient wisdom. We're discovering that observation changes reality, that intention shapes probability, and that when multiple consciousness units focus on similar outcomes, the effects compound exponentially rather than merely additively. Today we're going to explore how your future self is calling you not just to transform, but to find your tribe of transformation. How the timelines you're seeking to access require specific witnesses, specific co-creators, specific souls who are designed to evolve alongside you. When Einstein first encountered the phenomenon of quantum entanglement, he called it spooky action at a distance. Two particles, once connected, remained instantly correlated regardless of the space between them. Change the spin of one and its partner immediately responds, defying our classical understanding of cause and effect. But consciousness operates on this same principle. Your awareness isn't contained within the boundaries of your skull. It extends into the field, connecting with other awareness in ways that transcend physical proximity. Think about those moments when you've thought of someone just before they called, or when you walked into a room and immediately felt the emotional atmosphere without anyone saying a word, or when you've had a profound realization that seemed to emerge from nowhere, only to discover that someone close to you was contemplating the exact same insight. These aren't coincidences. They are evidence of conscious entanglement, the natural state of interconnected awareness that most of us have been trained to ignore or explain away. Now imagine harnessing this phenomenon intentionally. Instead of random synchronicities, you consciously entangle your awareness with others who are aligned with your highest evolution. Instead of solo transformation, you create collective elevation. Your future self exists in a reality where the connection is fully activated, where you're no longer trying to shift timelines in isolation, but are part of a conscious collective that moves together toward higher dimensional realities. The challenge is that most of us have been conditioned to pursue transformation as a solitary journey. We meditate alone, visualize alone, affirm alone, and while individual practice is essential, it only takes us so far. There's a ceiling to what can be achieved without the amplification of aligned consciousness. Every moment, you're choosing between infinite timelines. The version of you that exists 5 minutes from now is slightly different from the version listening to this sentence. The question isn't whether you're shifting timelines. You're constantly doing that. The question is whether you're shifting consciously and in alignment with your highest potential. Individual timeline work involves aligning your internal state with the version of yourself you wish to become. You feel into that future self, you embody their emotions, their beliefs, their ways of being. Through sustained focus and elevated emotion, you begin to collapse the wave function of possibility into the reality you desire. But here's where collective fields change everything. When multiple people simultaneously align with complementary timelines, they create probability anchors. They don't just individually shift. They create new pathways in the quantum field that didn't exist before. Think of it like this. If you're trying to create a new path through a forest, you can make progress on your own, but if several people walk the same route together, the path becomes clearly defined much more quickly. The collective intention carves out new neural pathways in the fabric of reality. Your nervous system is constantly scanning for evidence of what's possible. When you're surrounded by others who are embodying elevated states, your nervous system begins to recalibrate its sense of normal. The impossible starts feeling inevitable. This is why certain breakthroughs happen at retreats, workshops, or gatherings that never seem to occur during solo practice. It's not just the information being shared or how amazing the teacher is, it's the collective field being generated. That's why these large retreats and groups and meetings are taking off right now, because the group creates a container of possibility that allows each individual to access states they couldn't reach alone. The future self you're seeking to become exists in relationship, not just romantic relationship, but soul relationship, connecting with others who are on parallel evolutionary journeys. These aren't random connections. They're quantum entanglements that were established at higher dimensional levels before you incarnated into this reality. This understanding of group consciousness as the catalyst for dimensional shifting is not new. It's been confirmed through various sources throughout history. The collective consciousness known as Quo, channeled through LL Research, has repeatedly emphasized this principle in their transmissions. Quo speaks of how, as you orient all together, you harmonize in a certain way that allows your individual selves to come together and resonate, not as one homogeneous being, but rather as a collection of infinitely unique individuals who share in a desire to move outward and serve others in the love and the light of the one infinite creator. They describe the formation of what they call a social memory complex, the very foundation needed for collective timeline shifting. According to Quo, this process creates the collective that automatically emerges from the blending of yourself and your other selves, and is necessary for you as an individual and as a collective to express so that you may continue the journey. The entities describe how groups create vibrational fields that allow for collective elevation beyond what any individual could achieve alone. This aligns perfectly with the work of Dolores Cannon, whose research through quantum healing hypnosis revealed that the New Earth shift is fundamentally a collective phenomenon. Cannon discovered through her sessions that groups of people in the past have been able to shift en masse into another dimension. These groups are surrounded in mystery because they simply disappeared, leaving no clues as to what happened to their civilizations. She had QHHT sessions with thousands of people and found commonalities in many of them, showing that there was a group timeline shift coming our way, and that would be a point in which people will shift into one timeline and another, and that is what is happening right now. She explained that these groups had become very advanced in their development and had chosen to change vibrations and shift, and that in the future the entire planet would follow and accomplish the same feat. The Mayans, certain North American Indian tribes, and other advanced civilizations reached this collective timeline shifting, and we're now approaching our own opportunity for this phenomenon. I don't care what's happening in the world. It has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. Cannon's research revealed that the purpose of the three waves is twofold. One, to change the energy of the earth so it can avoid catastrophe. Two, to help raise the energy of the people so they can ascend with the earth into the next dimension. This isn't just individual transformation. It's collective ascension through group consciousness. Right now, as you're listening to these words, you're part of a collective field. Every person engaging with this content is contributing to a shared frequency. Understand what this is: measurable quantum entanglement happening in real time. I want to invite you into an experience, not just to listen, but to participate in creating a collective timeline shift together in this moment as you listen to me now. No matter where you are in the world, no matter when you're hearing this, your consciousness can synchronize with others who are aligned with the same evolutionary trajectory. Take a moment to pause and feel into your heart center. If you're able to close your eyes, do so now. If not, simply soften your gaze and turn your attention inward. Breathe slowly and deeply. Let each breath expand your chest, filling your entire being with awareness. As you breathe, imagine that your consciousness is expanding beyond the boundaries of your physical body. Feel yourself extending into the space around you. Your awareness isn't contained within your skin. It's reaching out, connecting with the field of infinite possibilities that surround you. Now feel into the version of yourself that exists 5 years from now, the version who has fully stepped into their highest potential. Multiple versions of you exist simultaneously across different timelines, and you're about to connect with your most evolved self. See through their eyes. Notice how differently they perceive the world. Feel their emotional state, their deep peace, the unshakable confidence, the crystal clear clarity about their purpose. Feel their sense of connection to something greater than themselves. This future is real. They exist in the quantum field right now. Here we go deeper than just individual work. Your future self is not alone. They're part of a collective of evolved beings who support each other's continued growth. They exist in a reality where conscious collaboration is the norm, where individual brilliance amplifies through group synergy. As you connect with your future self, become aware that you're also connecting with the future versions of everyone who is engaging with this activation right now across the globe. Other consciousnesses are doing exactly what you're doing. Feel into this collective presence now. Sense the frequency of these future selves. Notice how your future self feels when surrounded by others who are equally committed to growth, service, and transformation. Feel the resonance building. This is no longer just your individual future. This is a collective timeline where awakened beings work together to create realities that serve the highest good. From this space of collective, elevated consciousness, feel the power that emerges. Individual transformation is beautiful, but collective transformation is world-changing. You're not just accessing your own potential, you're accessing the combined potential of everyone who chooses to participate in conscious evolution. Now, from this space of collective future consciousness, send energy back to your present moment. Allow your future self and all other future selves to anchor their frequency in your current reality. Feel this download happening in your nervous system. Feel new neural pathways forming. Feel your sense of what's possible expanding. Feel your body recalibrating to this higher frequency. Notice any sensations, tingling, warmth, expansion, lightness. These are signs that your consciousness is rewiring itself to match your highest timeline. You're participating in real quantum entanglement with others who are aligned with similar evolutionary trajectories. The field we've created together doesn't end when this is over. It becomes a standing wave in the quantum field, a frequency that others can access when they're ready to step into their own transformation. Take one more deep breath, feeling yourself fully embodying this new individual future self and your connection to the collective field of conscious evolution. When you're ready, begin to bring your awareness back to your physical surroundings, but carry this elevated frequency within you. Open your eyes, if they were closed, and notice how your perception has shifted. You've just participated in quantum entanglement with fellow seekers around the world. The impossible has become a little more inevitable. There's a phenomenon in biology where once a breakthrough occurs in one part of the world, the same breakthrough begins happening spontaneously in other locations. New behaviors, new adaptations, new capabilities seem to transmit across space without any direct communication. The same principle operates in human consciousness. When someone achieves a new level of being, they create a morphic field, an invisible blueprint that makes it easier for others to access similar states. You can intentionally participate in creating these fields. Instead of waiting for someone else's breakthrough to make your transformation easier, you can gather with others who are committed to the same evolution and collectively establish new patterns of possibility. Your brain is designed to learn through observation and imitation. Mirror neurons fire not just when you perform an action, but when you watch someone else perform it. In consciousness work, this means that being in the presence of others who are embodying elevated states rewires your neural networks in real time. But the effect goes deeper than individual brain changes. When groups of people sustain coherent emotional states together, they begin to synchronize at multiple levels. Heart rhythms, brain waves, cellular oscillations. This synchronization creates a field effect that can influence anyone within its range. The implications are staggering. Instead of trying to override years of conditioning through willpower alone, you can step into a field where your desired state is the natural resonance. Instead of fighting against societal programming, you can create micro-societies where your highest potential is not just supported but expected. This is why mystery schools, spiritual communities, consciousness movements, and the reality revolution itself have emphasized gathering. They understood that certain transformations require collective fields to sustain them, and I'm calling upon us to do that now. When you do future self-integrations, you are essentially having a conversation with a more evolved version of yourself in the quantum field. That's what I've been trying to facilitate with many of my activations in different ways. You tune into their frequency, download their wisdom, and begin embodying their characteristics in your current reality. It's a groundbreaking idea that I'm beginning to see the effects of so substantially it has changed my life forever. Your future self doesn't exist in isolation, though. The version of you that you're seeking to become is part of a collective of evolved beings who support each other's continued growth. When you integrate with your future self in group setting, you're not just accessing individual evolution, you're plugging into the entire network of consciousness that your future self participates in. This creates acceleration that is impossible to achieve alone. Each person's future self integration supports and amplifies everyone else's. The collective future that emerges is greater than the sum of its individual parts. Imagine meditating with 20 other people who are all connecting with versions of themselves that exist 5 years from now. Each person's elevated state supports everyone else's ability to sustain that frequency. The group creates a sustained field of future possibility that each individual can anchor more deeply than they ever could in isolation. But there's something even more profound happening. The future selves that each person is connecting with begin to communicate with each other through the collective field. The meditation becomes a meeting between evolved versions of everyone present. New possibilities emerge that none of them could access individually. This is why certain groups seem to manifest extraordinary outcomes together. They're not just combining their individual efforts, they're accessing collective timelines that can only be reached through group coherence. I've been contemplating these principles for months now, and I keep coming back to one question. What becomes possible when we intentionally create a field for collective timeline shifting? After years of guided individual transformations, I find myself called to explore this next level, not just teaching these concepts, but testing them. Creating an actual experiment in consciousness where we can discover what emerges when aligned souls gather with pure intention to step into their highest timelines together. This November, I'm gathering a group in Los Angeles for 3 days of intensive future self-integration work. But this isn't just another workshop, it's a research project into the nature of collective transformation. I don't know exactly what will happen. That's the beauty of true experimentation. But based on everything I understand about quantum consciousness, morphic fields, and the nature of timeline mechanics, I suspect we're going to access possibilities that are simply unavailable to us individually. The people who feel called to this gathering aren't random. If you've been drawn to this work, if these concepts resonate in your bones, if you've been sensing that your transformation requires witnesses and co-creators, then you might be part of this quantum entanglement I've been describing. Your future self knows whether this is part of your path, not because I'm telling you it is, but because you can feel into the timeline where you're there and sense whether it aligns with your highest evolution. This isn't about convincing anyone to attend my event. It's about recognizing the synchronicities that are constantly guiding us toward our next level of growth. Sometimes that growth requires stepping into unknown, sometimes uncomfortable territory with others who are equally committed to their evolution, and something wonderful happens. Both Kuo and Dolores Cannon research point to the same truth. We're living through the greatest collective transformation in human history. According to Kuo, your planet is on the cusp of experiencing the formation of social memory complexes, while Cannon's work revealed that the Earth itself is changing its vibration and frequency and is preparing to raise itself into a new dimension. The activation we just experienced together proves that these principles work in real time. The field we created extends beyond this moment. it becomes accessible to anyone who aligns with this frequency. You've just participated in creating a standing wave of elevated consciousness that others can tap into. Whether you feel called to join our November experiment or not, you're now part of this collective field. You've contributed to the morphic resonance that makes higher timelines more accessible for everyone. This is how transformation spreads, not through force or persuasion, but through creating fields of possibility that others can step into when they're ready. Start paying attention to the people who are showing up in your life. Notice who feels aligned with your evolution and who seems to drain your progress. Begin consciously choosing to spend time with others who elevate your consciousness rather than diminish it. Choose content that raises your consciousness. Choose material, books, radio, TV, whatever it is that raises your consciousness. Practice future self-integration, not just as an individual exercise, but as preparation for finding your tribe of transformation. The clearer you become about who you're becoming, the more easily you'll recognize others who are on similar trajectories. And remember, the timeline you're seeking to access is already real. Your future self is already living it. Through our collective activation today, you've strengthened your connection to both your individual future and the collective future we're creating together. The field is calling, your people are calling, your highest timeline is calling. The only question that remains is, are you ready to answer? If you'd like to get tickets for my event in November, they are still available. You can find them at www.brianscottlive.com/event-November. I'd love it if you checked out my art. You can find it at www.newearth.art. All my episodes can be found at therealityrevolution.com. And welcome to the Reality Revolution. Hello, it's Brian Scott. And I'm beyond excited to finally announce a live, in-person, 3-day event that I'm hosting in Los Angeles on November 21st through the 23rd. And when you walk away from this event, your life will be changed forever. Whatever it is that you're looking for right now, if you need to heal from something, to find the love of your life, to find wealth, to find your purpose, to ascend, to evolve, whatever that is, whatever your desire, this event is designed to bring that to you. There is a timeline available for you where you can live the very best life that you could ever imagine, where everything is always working out for you. And this event is designed to shift you into that reality and make it something tangible and real that you experience. I promise you that this will change your life.